Yo, 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 it's your boy David Verde, and I'm coming at you with the very first episode of my podcast titled Pilot Season, where we dive into the first episode of a series that I have never seen before, and I'll give you my ins and outs, predictions, conclusions, my overall impression of the show, maybe my expectations, and we'll kind of just take it from there. This episode, we're going to be watching Fear of the Walking Dead, Season 1, Episode 1, which just so happens to be titled Pilot. I just watched the episode. It was a little over 60 minutes long, no commercials, no interruptions, and I do have to say, from the jump, good intense intro. It was very intense. Just, your typical horror film, and I wouldn't even go as far as to say typical, but your classic or iconic horror film-esque, or if you watch the original Walking Dead series, I suppose what you would expect, since they've already done such a, deep dive into the original first 8 seasons, I believe it was, so you'd kind of hope as a prequel slash and or spin-off that they'd have, higher production quality, and they'd be more fine-tuned in regards of production and where they want to take things, and just, you get what I'm saying. The delivery should be pretty on par at this point, and it is, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure this show's fairly old, several years old at that. I never got around to watching it. I did, like I said, watch Walking Dead, but I never got around to watching Fear of the Walking Dead, so here we are now. And it's not Fear of the Walking Dead, it's just Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know why I put of, it just, I guess, seemed like it made sense, but it's just Fear the Walking Dead. So, episode 1, which like I said is the pilot, starts off in an abandoned church, it seems like, and it looks like a dude sleeping. I didn't think much of it besides maybe, he's homeless or he's living there, because I'm thinking, okay, we're just jumping straight into the series. I guess my assumption was they took over the church and that's where they were, hiding themselves from the zombies and taking fortress at this point, I suppose, but I was wrong. So he later explained that he was nodding off. He met this girl that he was nodding off next to, and then when he woke up, she wasn't there. He was confused, and then bada bang, bada boom. This is where the series begins. He goes searching for her in the church, and as he's going downstairs, he discovers a trail of blood. I believe it was across an organ, I want to say. I almost wanted to say a piano, but since it was a church, it was probably an organ. And the organ was in the position to as where it looked like it was falling down a staircase, which was already kind of okay, which also made me think oh, they're barricading themselves in here, like I said, but no, I couldn't have been far from wrong, I guess. It just was me making assumptions, and the assumptions were not true. So he finds the girl that he was looking for after following a trail of blood and screams, and he discovers her eating somebody, I believe. I want to say that's where we kind of walk into place with her. There's a lot of dead bodies everywhere, and of course he's scared, and then she wants to make him her next meal. Luckily, he was able to escape that situation unscathed, and as he was getting away, he decided to run onto a busy street without looking, shoeless and just scared. He just looked like a maniac, and a car hit him, and he ended up getting taken to the hospital, where they handcuffed him to the bed, and they asked him a bajillion questions. His family came to check on him, and they thought, it's this guy. He's just, overdosing or having another one of his crazes per usual. But they were wrong. They didn't know that this was the beginning of a zombie pandemic, I want to say. And the only person who believed him was his mom's boyfriend, because the mom's boyfriend actually went and sussed out the church himself, saw all the blood everywhere, bumped into a crackhead who was at the church hiding, and the guy was like, "Don't kill me, don't kill me." So he was like, something weird's going on here. Then later on, the son, the same one who, starts the series off, he's at the hospital, and they are like, okay, you need to use the bathroom. So they unhandcuff one of his hands so he's able to use the bathroom more comfortably. And in the midst of that, some frantic stuff goes down with his neighbor, because he was like sharing a room with somebody at the hospital. And while they were catering to the neighbor, he unhandcuffed himself, because it was like cloth or something. They more like strapped him to the bed. It wasn't like police handcuffs. And then he threw on his clothes. He got the hell out of the hospital. And then from there, nobody could find him for several days. So they went looking for him. They went and hit up his old childhood friend, who just so happened to be his dealer, and nobody knew that at the time. And the dealer was like, I'll keep an eye out for him. So after a couple of days, he links up with the dealer, who was very, very upset due to the fact that the parents came to his parents' house looking for their son, and he thought they might, be speculating that this guy has something to do with the disappearance of their son or him doing drugs. So he's getting mad at the guy that he is selling drugs to, and he is, responsible for his downfall, essentially, rather than helping his friend. He just keeps pushing him down. And then he tells him, hey, man, I understand you've been through a lot. Like, I'm going to get you high. Like, come on, man. So they get into the car. And I don't know if you ever played like Grand Theft Auto or anything like that, but there's like a LA River, and they just drive down into this little like pocket area where like it's very private. I imagine the only people down there would be construction workers or bums. And then the gentleman who was selling his friend drugs was like, hold on. And he gets out of the car, and the guy sees that he's grabbing a gun in his peripheral view. So as he's getting out of the car to join his quote-unquote friend/dealer, they start wrestling with each other, and the guy who was planning on killing his friend accidentally gets shot in the midst. So it's like, who would have seen that coming, He's on the ground. Now his buddy, who was almost fish food himself, is freaking the fuck out because his childhood friend/dealer is now on the ground lifeless, and he's like, holy shit, what do I do? And he decides to call the mom's boyfriend, and he says, hey, can you come alone? The mom's boyfriend does not come alone. Homie brings the mom, of course, and they're like, oh my God, because they've been looking for this dude for days. He's been sleeping under bridges. All kinds of commotion's been happening. Like the first video or two of the zombie apocalypse has gone viral online. And that's what I was kind of speculating in my head too. Like, if anything like this were to happen, some fucking idiots would be posting about it on Facebook and Snapchat, and it'd be on fucking TMZ and X. And I was thinking, oh boy, I was like, the first person to turn into a zombie, their cousin's gonna make a video, be like, oh, look at bro tweaking right now, look at bro tweak. Like, come on, bro, like, let's be real. Everybody's fucking cooked nowadays. Like, this generation is fried. So the first thing people would do would be trying to capitalize on it and turn them into a circus of some sort. So anyways, back to the story. Homeboy, who is addicted to drugs, and his dealer, as I said, they used to be childhood friends. They started hassling with each other, wrestling, whatever you want to call it. The guy who was planning on killing the other guy is now dead. He called his mom's boyfriend. The boyfriend shows up with the mom, and they're like, okay, come in, go show us the body. So he takes them down to show them the body. The car is still there that they drove there in, but the body is gone. And I'm like, fuck. Like, who would have seen this coming? Wink, wink. Because it's like, of course, now I'm assuming the guy's a zombie. So they're like, nothing's here. I think you're tripping, essentially, is what they kind of said without saying it, Let's just get out of here. So they get in the truck, 3-seater, and as they're backing up, somebody's kind of like walking in the distance behind them, and they're like, oh shit, there's your friend. He's a fucking zombie. The mom and the boyfriend hop out of the car like, hey, you alright, man? And it looks like he bit the mom. I'm not sure if he did, I'm sure that's one of those, like, it wasn't a cliffhanger per se, but it felt like it, like the episode didn't end right there, but they did it on purpose to where, like, you couldn't see specifically, but they made it to as where you don't know, like, dang, like, he could have bit her, he could have not, and then they don't really double back on that before the episode ends. The son's never like, Mom, were you bit? So the freaking son sees that happening, the like dude who's now zombified trying to bite his mom, and he's still sitting in the truck, so he just like slams on the gas in reverse, I suppose, as a typical TV situation would go, and he hits the zombie. The zombie gets back up and he's coming at him again, so now he goes in forward, full speed, hits the zombie at full speed, and then slams on the brakes like, one of those like, go fast, stop, hit the zombie, and the zombie goes flying ordeal. Then they all kind of like look out, and you see the zombie, in a slight distance, and this motherfucker's all fucked up, bones popped out and stuff, but he's still fucking moving, man. So I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. There is a sister too. I'm sure as the series goes on, she's going to be more important and, be more implemented. But as of right now, she's just typical 18-year-old. She's got a boyfriend. She's skipping classes. She's upset that her brother's taking her attention away from her family because of his drug problem. Like, nothing, she hasn't really had that character develop yet, and it's obviously only the first episode, so it's like, if anybody's the quote-unquote main character, it's definitely the like drug addict brother as of right now. But like the mom's boyfriend has a son as well who like had a small scene, and then like his ex-wife had a small scene, and then I'm sure the mom of the drug addict son has a husband somewhere as well. So, you know what I mean? There's going to be more characters and more character development as we go, obviously, but like based off of right now, your main focus is the drug addict son, the mom, and the boyfriend. Those are like your main three characters. And then the mom, I want to say, is like a high school counselor. The boyfriend is a teacher. And then the daughter goes to school in her senior year at the school that they both are faculty at. And then the son, I want to say, is like 25 years old, just to kind of, I guess, give you like a better idea of their ages and stuff as well. And then the daughter wants to go to school in the Bay Area. I'm assuming they're in Southern California. And the boyfriend's like, oh, that's so far away. And she's like, not really. She's like, same coast. She's like, we'll be on the same time zone. We could drive and see each other whenever we want. He's like, yeah, that's too far for me. It's like, just, that's what it's just like, your typical Nickelodeon, like, that shit's not really important. It's like, the important storyline right now is the son. And I will continue to watch this show. I think there is going to be a lot of room for growth, and, there's the possibility that the mom did get bit, and then they don't know how that's going to, transpire because no one's dealt with this before, and then maybe it's going to be one of those situations where the brother does have to stop doing drugs because the mom dies, and now it's like him and his mom's random boyfriend of a few months and his 18-year-old sister who's supposed to be going to college, but now instead of her going to college and them having a happily ever after, he has to, kind of step in and protect her from the world of zombies, or who fucking knows. It's like, it's only episode 1, so I'm excited to see where the series leads, but definitely a great first way to start off this podcast, I'd say. I'd recommend you watch it. Would I say it's like family friendly? If you like, if your kids are like 6th grade or older, I'd say, or if you're watching it with them, of course, then that's, up to you, but it's only the first episode, so it's kind of hard to say. I've seen The Walking Dead. There is some scenes with like nudity and stuff, and it can get a little gory at time, but it's up to you, of course. It's not a comedy. It's definitely more action, serious, action/drama. So, who knows? I might go jump into episode 2 right now. Well, thank you guys. This has been your host, David Verde. You already know where to find me. You could just literally look up David Verde. I don't need to over-exaggerate or over-explain that. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to watching something again here with you real soon. Later, guys.